Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of my alphas. You walk into this world with a force that cannot be ignored. You are the ones who refuse to blend into the background. Every move you make, every step you take, every word you speak is felt in ways that others cannot comprehend. And let me tell you this, they are obsessed, they are stressed, they are stalking every bit of your vibe, and they can't help it. They can't help but be drawn to you, like moths to a flame. Why? Because you exude something they don't have, something they want, something they'll never be able to replicate no matter how hard they try. You walk into the room and all eyes fall on you. You don't have to speak. You don't have to ask for attention. You don't have to beg for validation. It comes naturally. It comes because you've worked for it, because you've cultivated it, because you've earned it. Now let's talk about what this means. You're not just another person walking around in this world. You are a force to be reckoned with. Your presence alone disturbs the air around you. Your energy shakes the ground you walk on. You have no idea how much power you wield simply by existing. People feel it, and the more you climb, the more they hate you for it. They watch your every move. They analyze your every word. They study your behavior like they are waiting for you to slip. They are obsessed with finding any weakness. They are obsessed with seeing you fail. They want to see you fall, because in their eyes, your rise is something they can never achieve. They want to tear you down, because they cannot fathom a world where you are the one on top. But let me tell you this, they will never understand. They will never know the cost of what you've paid to get to where you are. They will never know the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the pain, the struggle that went into building the person you are today. You didn't wake up one day and decide to be great. No, greatness doesn't come by accident. You didn't wake up one day and decide to become untouchable. No, you built this armor brick by brick. You built this foundation from the ground up. And they'll never get it. They'll never understand because they don't have the stomach for it. They don't have the mental fortitude to do what you've done. So they obsess, they stalk, they stress, they live in the shadows hoping to catch a glimpse of your downfall. But guess what? You're not falling. You're not stopping. You're not slowing down. Every time they think they've found a chink in your armor, every time they think they've spotted a weakness, you rise above it. You show them that you're made of something stronger. You show them that your vibe is not something they can steal. It's not something they can break. It's not something they can diminish. Your vibe is your own creation. Your energy is your own power. And it's untouchable. What they don't realize is that their obsession with you only fuels your fire. Every time they talk about you behind your back, every time they gossip, every time they try to drag your name through the mud, it only propels you forward. It only adds fuel to the flame that burns inside you. You see their hate, you feel their envy, but instead of letting it drag you down, you use it as a weapon. You turn it into momentum. You turn it into fuel. They think they're breaking you, but they don't know they are building you up even higher. Every time they try to pull you down, they're just lifting you up to places they will never reach, and they hate you for it. But here's the thing. It's not about them. It's not about the ones who are obsessed. It's not about the ones who are stressing. It's not about the ones who are stalking your every move. It's about you. It's about your journey. It's about your mission. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You don't need their support. You are enough on your own. Your vibe speaks louder than anything they could ever say. Your actions speak louder than their whispers. Your success speaks louder than their jealousy. You are the one who controls the narrative of your life. So while they obsess, while they stress, while they stalk, you keep doing what you do best. You keep growing. You keep pushing forward. You keep evolving. You keep becoming more than they could ever imagine. You become the version of yourself that they could never be. And that drives them crazy. That drives them insane. Because deep down, they know they will never have what you have. They will never feel what you feel. They will never experience the level of success that you will. And it eats them alive. They want to break you. They want to see you fail. They want to see you falter. But you're not the one who is going to falter. You're not the one who is going to stop. You're not the one who is going to break. They're the ones who are breaking. They're the ones who are consumed by their own bitterness, their own jealousy. They can't move forward because they are too busy trying to tear you down. They can't focus on their own path because they are obsessed with yours. And that's where they lose. They lose because they are too focused on the wrong things. They lose because they are too focused on what you are doing instead of focusing on what they should be doing. They lose because they will never understand the level of discipline, sacrifice, and strength it takes to be the person that you are. You're not just walking this earth blindly. You are walking with purpose. You are walking with intent. Every step you take is calculated. Every move you make is deliberate. You are moving with power. You are moving with energy. And they are following in your wake, hoping to catch a glimpse of what it is that makes you so untouchable. But they will never find it. They will never find the secret sauce. They will never find the thing that makes you unstoppable. Because the truth is, there is no secret. The secret is in the grind. The secret is in the hustle. The secret is in the mindset. They will never understand that. They will never be able to replicate it. And that's what scares them the most. They are obsessed because they see something in you that they don't have. They see something in you that they could never attain. They are stressed because they know they'll never catch up. They know they'll never reach your level. They are stalking you because they think they can learn your secret, but they never will. You are too far ahead. You are too far gone, and that terrifies them. So let them obsess. Let them stress. Let them stalk. Let them waste their time. You keep moving forward. You keep being you. You keep doing what you've been doing all along. Because the truth is, they will never be able to stop you. No matter how hard they try, no matter how much energy they waste, you will always be a step ahead. And that's your power. That's your gift. You are a force that cannot be denied, and they can't handle it. Let them obsess. Let them stress. Let them stalk. They can't touch you, and they never will, because you're not playing the same game. They're on the sidelines while you're deep in the trenches. They throw words like knives hoping to draw blood, but you've already bled for your purpose. You've already tasted the bitter sting of failure, and you've turned it into fuel. You've already walked through storms that would have drowned them. You've already stood alone, broken and bruised, and still kept marching. That's what they don't understand. They only see the shine, not the scars. They don't see the nights when your soul screamed in silence. They don't see the mornings where you dragged yourself up from the edge of giving in. They don't see the demons you had to wrestle just to breathe another day. And yet, here you are. You carry weight that would snap their spine, and still, you walk with your head high. You speak with conviction, because every word has been earned. They mimic your tone, your walk, your posture, thinking if they dress like you, speak like you, they'll become what you are. But you can't copy soul. You can't copy pain. You can't copy the fire that forged someone who refuses to bow. You weren't made in comfort. You were made in chaos. You were carved by circumstance. And now that you've become unshakable, unmovable, undeniable, they can't handle it. So they whisper, they linger. They latch on to anything remotely tied to you, hoping they can drain just a drop of your power for themselves. But it won't work. It never does. Because what lives in you can't be borrowed. It has to be born. And you You've earned the right to walk with silence and have it still thunder. You've earned the right to smile with restraint while they unravel. Every time they mention your name, they give you power. Every time they watch your stories, refresh your page, try to decode your moves, they give you energy. They don't even realize they're feeding you. You thrive off their confusion. You rise from their envy. And no matter how closely they study you, they'll never crack the code, because you're not a formula, you're a phenomenon. You're not a blueprint, you're a storm. You are living proof that resilience is louder than noise. That presence is more powerful than performance. You don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you build. And the people who once doubted you, they're now quiet. The ones who once laughed, they watch silently now. The ones who tried to break you, they don't even recognize the version of you that rose from the ashes. They look in awe, even as they pretend not to care. But you see it, you feel it. You've become too radiant to ignore. Your name rings out in rooms you've never entered. Your face lingers in minds that you don't even acknowledge. You're a ghost that haunts their mediocrity, because your success reminds them of everything they're not doing. Your power reminds them of every excuse they've ever made. Your presence reminds them that comfort kills, and you chose to rise while they chose to rot. And still, you rise. With every doubt cast your way, with every eye watching for failure, you climb. Not because you have something to prove to them, but because you made a promise to yourself, because you refused to live a life that felt like a cage. You refused to die a slow death in the comfort of average, so you broke yourself free. You risked being misunderstood. You risked being alone. You risked everything for a dream only you could see clearly. And now, they watch you with that mixture of curiosity and hate, that trembling reverence they'll never admit. Let them keep watching. Let them keep guessing. Because what comes next is going to make their obsession unbearable. You haven't even peaked yet. You're still growing. You're still sharpening the blade. The version of you they envy now is just a glimpse. The pressure they feel now is just the tremor before the quake. And when you finally unleash the full extent of what you've been building, they won't know what hit them. You are becoming everything they feared and everything they wanted to be. But they'll never say it. They'll smile fake smiles. They'll act like they don't see you. But their silence is the loudest applause. So don't dim your light. Don't pull back. Don't play small to keep them comfortable. Let them burn in the heat of your glow. Let them choke on the smoke of your progress. Let them drown in the waves you create. Because that's what alphas do. They don't shrink. They dominate. They don't explain. They execute. They don't react. They reign. And you were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to apologize for your presence. You were never meant to be digestible. You were meant to shake foundations, to move mountains, to be unrepentantly, uncontrollably, unmistakably you. Let this fire in your chest keep growing. Let the shadows talk. Let the weak point and whisper. They've already lost. Because while they obsess over your vibe, you're out here building an empire. While they're scrolling, you're scaling. While they're talking, you're transforming. While they're hoping you fall, you're already rising again. The game has always been rigged in your favor. Because you don't stop. You can't stop. You won't stop. There's too much at stake. Too many people counting on you. Too many versions of your past self that you've promised to never return to. This is your era. This is your reckoning. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be remembered. And trust me, they'll never forget you. Every time they feel small, they'll think of you. Every time they hesitate, your name will echo. You'll be the reminder of what it looks like when someone refuses to be ordinary, and that reminder will haunt them, not because of what you did to them, but because of what they never had the courage to do for themselves. So let them obsess, let them stress, let them stalk, because while they're busy watching, you're busy winning. Let's keep going, because this path you're on, this one of relentless growth and silent dominance, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the ones who want applause without scars or crowns without the blood. You're not here because it was easy. You're here because you endured. And now you've become something they never saw coming. They thought you'd break. They thought you'd fold. They thought you'd slow down. But what they didn't count on was your capacity to suffer, not in silence, but in focus. You took every loss, every betrayal, every insult, and you absorbed it, not as defeat, but as ammunition. You walk differently now. You think differently now. The pain didn't just change you, it evolved you. It turned your vision into steel, your heart into fire, your soul into armor. And they feel that. Even if they don't say it, they feel it. Every time you enter the room, every time your name gets mentioned, every time your work shows up in the places they once said you'd never reach, they feel the weight of your presence. And that's the thing. You don't have to speak loudly when your results scream for you. You don't have to clap back when your glow is blinding. They underestimated you, but now they overanalyze your every step, praying they'll figure out how you did it, how you keep doing it. But they won't. Because what drives you isn't on the surface. It's deep. It's carved into your bones. It's born in a war they didn't witness. It's built from nights no one saw. The reason you shine so hard is because you earned the light. Not from shortcuts, not from favors, not from followers, from straight, relentless, soul-breaking grit. You bet on yourself when no one else would. You spoke your truth when everyone told you to be quiet. You stayed hungry when others got comfortable. And now that hunger is what keeps you unstoppable. Let them call you obsessed, because you are. You're obsessed with not settling, with not being average, with not dying a copy of someone else's blueprint. You're obsessed with becoming something more, something higher, something legendary. And the thing about legends, they don't explain themselves. They don't apologize for how loud their legacy echoes. They walk through fire and they leave footprints that others try to follow, but can't. They get talked about, doubted, dismissed, and copied, but never replaced. And you're walking straight into that territory. So let them stress, let them lose sleep, let them fumble their own moves trying to keep up with yours. Because that's what happens when you stop chasing validation and start chasing vision. When you stop being reactive and start being ruthless with your purpose. Your focus now is sharper than ever. Your circle is tighter, your standards are higher, and your tolerance for bullshit, gone. You no longer explain why you don't engage in petty drama. You no longer entertain low-frequency energy. You don't respond to subliminals. You don't chase shadows. You just move. And your movement speaks volumes. This isn't about ego. This isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about proving one thing and one thing only. That you will not be denied. That you will not be silenced. That you will not live and die in mediocrity just to make others comfortable. You've sacrificed too much. You've outgrown too many past versions of yourself. You've let go of too many weak connections. You've said goodbye to comfort and married discipline. And now, the results are undeniable. You've become the very thing they said couldn't exist. A force with no leash, a weapon with no master, a storm with no warning. They thought you needed them. They thought their opinion mattered. But now they see you never needed a crowd. You needed clarity. You needed time. And now that you've found both, you've become dangerous. Not because of what you say, not because of what you post, but because of how you move, how you walk away from anything that doesn't serve your growth, how you stay quiet while building an empire in the dark, how you cut off dead weight without explaining yourself. They call it cold. They call it harsh. But you call it necessary. You call it freedom. They're addicted to your energy. Even the ones who pretend to hate you. Even the ones who never say your name. Even the ones who smile in your face but can't stand to see you win. They're all tuned in, watching, analyzing, trying to figure it out. They can't focus on their own life because yours is the one they study. Every step you take makes them question their own. Every success you post makes them reflect on their failure to act. You didn't become a threat by bragging. You became a threat by executing, quietly, consistently, without approval, without noise, just raw, undeniable work. And don't think for a second they're not taking notes. They are, but notes don't give you power. Action does, vision does, sacrifice does. And that's where they'll always fall short. They want your light, but not your shadows. They want your wins, but not your wounds. They want your glow, but not your grind. And that's why you'll always stay ahead. Because you're willing to walk alone. You're willing to bleed for this. You're willing to lose everything just to keep your soul intact. They're trying to copy the result, but they'll never copy the reason. And that's what separates you. That's what makes you untouchable. While they're obsessed with your vibe, you're obsessed with your becoming. While they chase clout, you chase evolution. While they fake it, you forge it. And there's no shortcut for that. No filter, no hack, just war, internal war. And you've been winning that war every day. That's why you walk like that. That's why you don't flinch. That's why even your silence speaks volumes. You've seen the worst parts of yourself and still chose to rise. So let them stalk, let them obsess, let them stress. Because at the end of the day, when they lay their heads on their pillow, you're the one they think about. You're the one they envy. You're the one they fear becoming. And fear never becoming. Your very existence disrupts the comfort zone they've been sleeping in. Your vibe wakes them up to everything they're not doing. And that's why they can't let you go. Not out of love, not out of respect, but out of that toxic cocktail of hate and admiration. And that's their prison, not yours. You're free now, free to grow, free to shine, free to build without apology. And trust me, the next version of you, the one you're still sharpening, it's going to be their worst nightmare and your greatest triumph. Let's finish this. It's this final stretch, this last chapter in the message they weren't ready for, is where you remind them why you're not like them, why you can't be grouped in with the average, why your name carries thunder without a sound. See, you didn't come this far just to be seen. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to show off. You came this far to own everything they told you wasn't yours. You came this far to claim every inch of ground that was denied to you, every seat they didn't offer, every stage they laughed at, every chance they thought you couldn't take. You made your own. You took it all. And that's why they can't rest. They're still refreshing your page while pretending they don't care. Still checking your stories, still decoding your captions, still trying to figure out how the hell you did it, how you keep doing it. But it was never about a trick. It was never about clout. It was about the truth you swallowed when the world turned its back. It was about the nights you told yourself, I'll die before I go back to that life. It was about the version of you that nobody checked in on, the one that sat in the dark with fire in their eyes and a storm in their chest. That's the version of you that built this empire, and it's still in there, still pushing, still evolving, still ready for war. Because make no mistake, this path, it doesn't get easier. The hate gets louder. The eyes grow more jealous. The stakes get higher. But you get stronger, sharper, quieter. You don't rise to be seen anymore. You rise because you refuse to sink. You rise because it's wired into your DNA now. You don't need revenge. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. The wins are their own reward. The progress is the trophy. The growth is the revenge. And they feel it. God, they feel it. Every day they wake up and realize you're still going. That the storm they prayed would swallow you only made you stronger. That the silence you disappeared into didn't break you. It built you. You didn't fall off. You locked in. You didn't disappear. You descended into the lab, into your soul. And what came out of that isolation? What rose from that pressure? A version of you that no one saw coming. One that doesn't flinch. One that doesn't beg. One that doesn't need anything from anyone anymore. You've become the blueprint, the threat, the myth, and the best part, you're just getting started. Let them obsess. Let them stress. Let them stalk your every post, every move, every breath, because that's all they'll ever be able to do. Watch, study, imitate, but never be. They'll never carry your pain, your hunger, your history, and without that, they'll never carry your power. That's what this is. Power. Not the kind they can fake or buy, the kind that's earned, and you've earned it. So hold your head high. Move in silence when needed. Roar when it's time. But never, never shrink. You didn't come this far to go back. You didn't survive your past to become soft for the future. You've proven it, not just to them, but to yourself. And that's what matters most. You know what you are. You know what you've become. And deep down, so do they. They don't hate you. They hate how much they need you to fail just to feel better about their own cowardice. But you won't give them that gift. You won't throw them that bone. You're not here to make anyone comfortable. You're here to make history. So keep walking, keep pushing, keep becoming, and let the world do what it does. Watch. Let them obsess. Let them stress. Let them stalk. Because you're just warming up.